just a little squirt of some zero sugar chocolate syrup.
You tell me.
Well, that's plenty.
2 shots of vodka.
You like it sweet, so that's gonna be good.
For all my non-caffeinated folks out there, you're not alone.
One more thing. We gotta add some milk to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you really don't have much coffee making experience though either.
As you can tell.
That's okay. No, that's good. That's what I love about this, to show actually how easy it is to make recipes like this for yourself. It's not hard. Hello world. Today I'm here in Florida. I'm in the Sarasota area unexpectedly, and I'm here with a really cool dude. His name is Nick Dompierre. You may or may not have heard of him, but today you're gonna get to know him a little bit better. Funny enough, Nick is not a big coffee guy. Well, he is, but he doesn't drink caffeine much anymore. Last minute, he was like, hey bro, I don't really drink caffeine. And I was like, oh shit. So I scrambled to find some decaf coffee that we could have today. We're gonna make a really delicious recipe. It's like a Mexican hot chocolate. When you do drink coffee on the off occasion, what do you drink?
So usually it would just be like a decaf iced coffee with cream and sugar.
Okay. So you like
cream, extra sugar. I like it sweet.
Okay, dude, that's perfect. That'll be right on brand for what we're doing today. Like I said, I was in a crunch last minute to find some decaf coffee. So we just have some already brewed decaf cold brew, and I'm just gonna get right into it.
Perfect.
All right, let's do it. Boom. All right, so we're gonna start off. We have a super fancy shaker here. There's a drink that's become very trendy over the last like 2 years. It's called a shaken espresso.
Okay.
And it's because when you shake up the coffee and like agitate it, it gets like kind of foamy and it gets a really nice texture to it.
Okay.
And so that's what we're gonna do today, but we're doing it with cold brew.
Sweet.
So for all you out there, you can do a shaken espresso, even if you don't have espresso. We're gonna start off with about 4 ounces of the cold brew. Next up, just a little squirt of some zero sugar chocolate syrup, just a tiny squirt, just a baby squirt of liquid stevia. And then finally, we're gonna add just a couple little dashes of cinnamon powder to it. What this drink reminds me of is Mexican hot chocolate that I used to drink when I was younger. It's a yellow package, so it'll be cool to see what you think after we get this made up. We're gonna get some ice and add it to the shaker. Shake that thing up. See how it's like foaming up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it gets a real nice like velvety texture to it when it's like that. And then you can dump it back in your cup. We got to finish it off with a little bit of milk, 2 or 3 ounces by the time he adds it in.
I use this stuff too, it's great.
Yeah, Fairlife is the bomb.
13 grams of protein per serve.
Look how good that is. This is his first time making it. It's that easy. 25 to 30 calories. Let's get the taste test going.
All right, here we go. Oh, wow. That's really good.
And easy.
Yeah.
So good.
That's delicious.
Dude, let's go. If you give it a rating, what would you say out of 10?
0.5 to 9. I could use a little more sweetness. I like it super sweet.
Yeah.
But it's very good.
Solid. Does it have that Mexican hot chocolate vibe with the cinnamon powder?
Yeah. It has a little kick
like
from the cinnamon.
There's a little bit of spice in there.
It still has a really nice coffee flavor, which I absolutely love because I never really get to drink coffee. So this is like, I feel like I'm drinking coffee.
Perfect.
Without the kick.
All right, Nick, we got our coffee. Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
Want to get to know you. Sit down and have a conversation.
Sounds great.
All right. Welcome to the Tailgate Coffee Table. Today, I have a very special guest, someone that I have followed on social media for a long time and actually used to follow when I was a young kid, back when I used to skate. And so I'm actually super excited to talk with Nick today. This is Nick Dompierre. Really excited to hear his story. You've built yourself into this athlete. You own your own gym. I want to get to know your story of how you got to where you are today, when you shifted from being a pro skater and that gradual transition into becoming a full-time CrossFit athlete. Nick recently got married in Yosemite, and I urge you to go to his Instagram and look at the photos because it's breathtaking. Yosemite is such a beautiful place, and they're both dressed up in full wedding attire and standing on like the edge of Half Dome. It's just amazing stuff. So Nick, welcome to the Tailgate Coffee Table, man.
Thanks for having me, man. Stoked to be here.
Yeah. So I just want to jump right into it. And when you started skating, how you turned pro, and then how you transitioned that into becoming a CrossFit athlete. I'd love to just hear as much as you'd like to share.
All right. Well, first off, thank you again for having me. Stoked. And it's really cool to hear that you follow me since my skating days, because even people nowadays don't even know that I used to skate. They just see me as a fitness person, working out and eating a bunch of food. So yeah, basically skateboarding for me started when I was about 12 years old. I was born and raised in New Bedford, Massachusetts, and went to the skate park, and I would always ride my bike over there, and then I'd use my cousin's skateboard. And then after that, I just like completely fell in love with it. and wanted to skate every day. So every day after school, I'd go to my cousin's house, get his skateboard to go to the skate park, skate all day. And then that was it. I just became like super, super hooked. And then I started skating with a lot of people that were better than me. And like, they were like filming, like I didn't even understand like why people were filming. So I was like, oh, I want to skate with them too, you know, and like just skating with people that are more advanced makes you want to get better to get on their level, you know? So I just skated with, like Anthony Shetler back in the day. He's like a New Bedford legend. The whole Solstice crew, all those guys, Craig Paiva, Jay Vasconcelos, all those guys. So, skating with them was like really fun. And then we filmed, and like I made like my first sponsor me tape. We sent it to a company called like Saint Skateboards. So it was like this small little company out of New York City, and skated for them for a little while. And then I was always with Anthony Shetler. So he was on Fibro at the time. So we'd always go to New York City to go to demos with Steve Rodriguez, the whole crew. And it was just super, super fun. So, skated for them for a while, turned AM for Fibro, sent a tape to Spitfire and Thunder to get some stuff from them, some products. And they ended up sponsoring me. But then at the same time, they're like, oh, we'd love to give you boards for real. And I was like, I'm not going to leave Fibro, you know, like this is like my home. These are all my homies, like, you know, skating with them all the time. Like they were super close in New York. So I could, you know, we take the trip 3.5 hours up there on the weekends, go skate with them, have a blast. And so then like I gave it some more thought, and, you know, I had asked Anthony, you know, what do you think? And he's like, you know, it could be really cool, you know, to be like more in the industry, because Fibro was kind of like a smaller underground company. And then, so I gave it some thought, and I was like, all right, you know, I'm going to do it. So I ended up skating for real. And then I started traveling more with them. I started going out to California, going on trips, started meeting more people, Jim Thiebaud, Mickey Reyes. And so with Real Skateboards, like Deluxe is part of them as well. So it's like Anti-Hero, Crooked. Mm-hmm. So I was like starting to see like Tony T, like Mark Gonzalez, and like Dandra Hobel. So like all these legends. And I was like, you know, these people I watched growing up, and I was like starting to become part of that. And so I did a lot of traveling, and I did complete high school. You know, there was a lot of skaters that kind of dropped out because they wanted to pursue skateboarding, and understandable. My mom wouldn't let me quit high school. And there was like this one trip we were in Arizona with the whole Crooked team. And I was like, I just want to quit because I don't want to leave to go back to school. And I was like, I want to stay. And she made me go home. And so I finished high school, which that made her proud and made me proud too, because, you know, not everybody finishes high school nowadays. Yeah. So after high school, that's when I really started to travel, started competing a lot more, and went around the world. I was skating for Volcom, skated for Red Bull, and Audio. Remember Audio Shoes? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I skated for Audio too. Like we had such a really cool crew there, like Danny Montoya, Kenny Anderson, Steve Nesser, Ed Salego, Ernie Torres, Brian Brown, like whole squad. Like it was great. And again, skated for them for a while, and then something happened with Audio where this company, big company, bought them out. So then like the whole team fell apart, it broke up. And then I, basically a lot of the shoe companies were hitting up Jim Thiebaud from Real Skateboards asking like, oh, what's Nick going to do? You know, so it was like Vans, DC, like a bunch of different shoe companies. And it was really cool to be like, oh, I have a choice to like choose where I want to go. And then decided to skate for DC, which that was cool. Went through that whole time frame. And so basically traveled the world, had boards with my name on them, shoes with my name on them, clothing, all that type of stuff. And in 2011, I ended up breaking 2 vertebrae. So I broke C6 and T1, and which is really stupid. I was like on a boat, like boating with some friends, tubing, and I hit this wake, shot up, and then like missile dove down. And so there was like this raft that you kind of climb into. So there's raft all around your body. And so as I'm like missile diving down, there's raft here. So my raft hits the water, head all my weight, and just kind of snapped my neck forward. And I literally felt it down my vertebrae. Like it felt like it just cracked and popped, but like I felt like maybe I just pulled muscle or something. Like the last thing on my mind was like, oh, I broke my neck, you know? So like went like a whole week without going to the doctor, and then it just like was getting worse and worse. So I was like, I gotta go. And then went to the hospital. The doctor told me I had a broken neck, and I was just like, wow, like holy shit, like this sucks.
Damn, just walking around with a broken neck, like,
Yeah.
I think I just pulled my, that's
it
crazy.
was brutal. Like I couldn't sleep, I'd have to like sleep on the floor because I couldn't get comfortable in my bed. And yeah, it was horrible.
What year did you like really go head first into the culture and start getting your sponsorships and stuff?
Yeah, so I turned pro when I was 19. So I think that was like 2005, 2006.
Okay.
And that's when like I was like in my, I guess my prime of like, I was just like hungry, like super healthy.
You could also say that was like a prime for skateboarding too.
Yeah, for real. Like skateboarding's changed so much since then. But even then, like I quit drinking when I was like, I think I was I was 19. Not that I had like a drinking problem or anything, but like, you're young, you're a teenager, you go to parties with friends, you drink and you have fun. Everybody does it, and then like this day came when my friends were at the house. They came over because we were supposed to go skating the next day. And like, I come outside and I'm like feeling horrible. I was like throwing up and I'm like, bro, sorry guys. I can't go. I'm hungover. Like I drank last night and they left. They all went skating and like skating was like what I loved. I absolutely, that was my everything. And so I literally like stayed home and I was like, I can't go skating right now because I drank alcohol last night and I'm sick and I'm throwing up. I was like, this is stupid. So then I was like, I'm just going to quit. And like, not that like, it's funny, like, oh, I quit drinking at 19, but like, it was just something because I was dedicated to skateboarding. And then like those 2 years that like the 19 to 21, like I like literally like I was like almost unstoppable. I felt great. Like I was skating every day. I was just getting clip after clip. Every day would go out filming. I'd get like 3 to 4 clips a day. So I was literally just stacking clips. I'd go on skate trips. Like every skate spot we went to, I was getting a photo or this, that, like, I got covers of magazines. Like it was crazy. It was such a wild journey. And literally I had a blast. And then it was on my 21st birthday. Like I had some friends over my house and like they were drinking and stuff. And like, I still hadn't drank yet. And, they're like, oh, you're a bitch. You're never going to drink again. Like just stupid young kid shit. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm not going to drink again. And I like grabbed a beer and like just started drinking it. And then I just really liked it. I was like, oh, this is fun. I like this. Then I can go to bars and stuff. And so then like I started drinking more. I was still skating at the same time, but then I like started to get injured more. Like it was just like kind of going downhill. I wasn't really loving skating and kind of just went down like this kind of shitty path of just kind of drinking. Everyone goes through their 20s and parties and all that. But that kind of went on for a little while. And then like I ended up breaking my neck. And then that was just kind of like, that was like, all right, what am I doing with my life? And then that's when I started going to physical therapy for my neck and started doing like resistance bands, resistance training. And I loved the process of getting stronger each week, like improving and basically getting fitter. So then I ended up getting a gym membership and I started going to the gym, started working out. And seriously, the gym felt like it was like the skate park all over again. Like when you go to the skate park, you're super stoked and there's just so much stuff to do, so much stuff to learn. And I really dove into it. And then I started, listening to a lot of podcasts from like Eric Helms. He's like from 3DJM, you know him? 3D Muscle Journey. Yeah. Like all those guys, Alberto Nunez. So like I learned a lot from them just from like listening to them, watching their videos, and even like Matt Ogus, he's like a YouTube OG. So I learned a lot, just from like YouTube alone. So YouTube's like an amazing platform. After that, I started my ISSA certification online. So I got that. I started doing some online coaching. And at the same time, so I was still skating, but I was still working out. And after breaking my neck, like I lost a lot of my sponsors because, at the end of the year, my contracts were up. I wasn't skating at the level I was. So then it was like, what am I going to do? And then that's when I got my personal training certificate because I was doing a lot of training. And I was like, I feel like I can coach people because people are always asking me questions because I was lean. I had a 6-pack and people were like, hey, what do you eat? Like, how do you train? And I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. People are coming to me for something like I'm just kind of like diving into and learning about. It was almost like skateboarding all over again. Like, oh, how do you 360 flip or how do you do a backside flip? So it was kind of cool to like do what I did in skateboarding and then try to start doing that in the fitness world. Yeah. So yeah, I was going back and forth with skating, and I was actually staying with Joey Brzezinski. This was 2013, right around that time, because X Games had asked me to do the Real Street competition. So that was like the online competition where you just kind of go out on the street and film a part and then submit it online, and then people can vote. And so went to Cali, stayed with Joey for a while, filmed the part. That was super fun. And then after that, I went back home to New Bedford. So this was like 2015. And that's when I was like, all right, my skate career is kind of like coming to an end. Like I don't really have skate sponsors like I had before. Like, I have to have a job, like before, skateboarding was everything that I did, and I got paid to do it, and like when I first started skating, it wasn't even to think like, oh, I want that to be my job. Like I didn't even think about a job or anything like that. It was like I got sponsored, and then like people just started giving me money. Like my sponsors are like, oh, we want to pay you this. I'm like, really? Like that's freaking awesome. That's amazing. Perfect. And so that's all I did was skate, and then I got paid to do it. But then around 2015, when that was kind of coming to an end, I was doing more fitness stuff, started doing some online coaching. And I was kind of getting into like the fitness industry. Like that's something I wanted to be involved in. And then there was this clothing brand, Live Fit, that I was with them for like 2 years or something. Went to like fitness expos, like LA Fit Expo, the Arnold, all that type of stuff. And so then I'd be in the booth, and then people were going to the Arnold and those fitness expos to meet me for like fitness, but then also like people knew me from skateboarding. So that was kind of cool. I was kind of having like the best of both worlds. And so just kind of did fitness for a while. Started my YouTube channel in 2015 and just started filming like full days of eating, how I'm training, because I was watching a lot of stuff on YouTube, and that's how I learned. And I was like, I want to do this. I think this would be pretty fun. So, and I didn't even know you could make money from YouTube either. Like it just became like a hobby. Like it was something for me to do because I enjoyed it. And it wasn't until about 2018 that's when I really started to see some traction with my channel. So like I was always just filming like full days of eating, workout videos. I did like some food challenge stuff here and there, but nothing ever got like a lot of traction. And 2018, I came to Florida to visit my buddy, Nate Figs. Have you heard of Nate Figs? Yeah. So he was living in Fort Lauderdale. So I went and stayed with him for like 2 weeks because he's a homie. He skates and stuff as well. And I had just got done doing like a keto diet. So I was doing the keto diet for a while. And then on the weekend, I'd have like my carb up day, this and that. And Nate was always doing like crazy food challenges and cheat days and stuff like that. So when we got down to Florida, I was like, bro, I want to film a cheat day. So I was just like super food focused, because I'm not sure if any of you guys have done a keto diet. So you completely eliminate carbohydrates, and it's just basically protein and fat. And then when you have like a carb up day, you really look forward to it, because you want like maple syrup and pancakes and donuts and all the stuff that you're not able to eat. So like that was like, I really looked forward to that. So we filmed our first cheat day together, and bro, it was crazy. The video got so much traction, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, where are all these people coming from? So literally I think I had like 8,000 subscribers. So it took me like 3 years to go from 0 to 8,000 subscribers. And then we filmed that first cheat day together, and then within a few days, like it bumped me up to like 10,000. I was like, holy dude, that's crazy. It took me so long to get here. This is awesome. And then like, I really enjoyed doing the cheat days, and I just like, I'm just going to do one every weekend. So then every weekend I just filmed the cheat day, just going out eating whatever I wanted. And then the amount of traction and all the engagement from all the people were just like, bro, I love this. Do one every weekend. Like, oh, go here next weekend, or like, oh, here, you need to try this place. And so it was like getting a lot of feedback, and I just went out, really enjoyed myself, filmed it. And then even editing the videos, I was really enjoying like the editing and producing content and putting it out there. And it's just really fun. So like 2018 to 2020 is basically I was in that rhythm of just like workout, cheat day on the weekend, and YouTube was like my main focus. And I would do modeling here and there as well. Like I worked with Wilhelmina, which I'm still a model for them, but like when you're a model, you can get a job tomorrow, or you might not get a job for like 9 months. So that really does depend. So yeah, just YouTube was like my main thing, as well as doing online coaching. And then it was around the pandemic when I started CrossFit. So I used to go to Crunch and I'd go there, work out by myself. Or my buddy Cabero he used to live down here as well. So we would train together all the time. Yeah. But then when he moved back to Mass, it was just basically myself here. Like I didn't know anyone here in Bradenton. So I'd go to the gym, I'd work out, train, film my workouts, go home and just edit content. So it's basically just eat, sleep, train, and work. Like I had a good flow going, good rhythm. And basically that's all I did. And then it was around right before the pandemic, I met my buddy Mike. So I'd work out at Crunch. I'd always see him there training. And then one day he's like, hey man, you ever want to get in a workout? Let me know. And I was like, all right, cool. So we did some leg training, like squats and just lower body session. And then he was like, hey, you want to do some conditioning? And I'm like, what's that? You know, he's like, all right, well, we'll go to the back. So they had like a tire and then a wall ball. And he's like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 5 rounds. We'll do like 5 tire flips and then like 15 wall balls and then like a static ball carry walking down the end and then back. We'll do 5 rounds. And I'm like, all right, cool. And so then we're like 3 rounds into this and I'm just like kind of dying. And I'm like, what is the point of this? Like, why is like, you want to burn calories, just walk on the treadmill. Yeah. You know, like for me, like I would do a lot of walking just to create a calorie deficit. So that way I can stay leaner. And, you know, I lifted weights. Like that's what I like to do. Like I never got into like cardio based, like functional fitness, any stuff like that. So this was like a whole new world to me. And after we did that workout, I was like, man, this is horrible. It sucks. You know, I did 3 rounds and he did the 5. And so then like we started training together more. So we do strength, like upper body training, and then we'd finish with some conditioning. So we started doing that a bunch here and there. And then the pandemic hit. So the gym closed. And then he actually lived like super close to me, which I didn't even realize until the pandemic hit. And so he had a little garage gym set up where we'd be able to train in the garage. So we were able to still keep up our fitness while the pandemic was going on, COVID and all that. And then there was Murph. He told me about Murph. And that was the first time I ever heard of it. He's like, oh, there's this workout that people train for. They do it every year. So then we trained for that in front of my house. And that was probably the worst thing I've ever done in my life when I finished that for the first time. I couldn't believe the amount of fatigue, how tired I was, and like how you have to continue pushing, you know, being at that high heart rate, so tired and fatigued. And when I finished that, I just couldn't believe it. And, but then I fell in love with it at the same time. And then I got obsessed with it where I was like, I want to get better at Murph. But I didn't realize like with CrossFit, you do a workout like every so often. You don't repeat the same workout to get better at it. You know, you do a variety of stuff. So yeah, like I started training harder to get better at Murph. Yeah. And I did Murph 5 times that year, which I did get better every time. Yeah. But I look back at it now, I'm like, what a rookie mistake, you know? Crazy. But, so yeah, when we trained for Murph, we did it body weight at my house. And then, he took me to CrossFit Bradenton, which is the gym I own now. I went there to do Murph with everybody because they were doing it. It was around that time. And I met Johnny. He was the old owner, met a lot of people there. And it was really cool. I just really started loving CrossFit. I started going to the gym as a member and I'd go every day at 9:30. I'd be there with like the moms and just, you know, whole crew of different type of people, all different fitness levels. And we all worked out together. And my cardio was so bad. You know, I had great strength from all the strength work and training I did, but the cardio aspect was really tough for me. Like I couldn't breathe. I was always dying in every workout and it was pretty brutal. So I had been going to CrossFit for, I'd say like maybe after a year and a half, and 2 of my friends, they had bought the gym from the previous owner. And then they ended up asking me like, oh, hey, would you want to be a partner in the gym? And I was like, hell yeah, definitely. You know, so, I ended up buying into the gym and I ended up becoming a partner and then started running the gym. Now I took over the whole GM role. So I basically do everything there, like run it. I still coach. I handle all of the coaches, clean the gym. And, you know, we built such an amazing community there. So it's been great. And it's a totally different ball game from just regular fitness to actual CrossFit. Yep. And especially when you get into like competing as well. because the amount of training and workload that you have to do to go to these competitions and be competitive it's pretty insane. Yeah. So I got into competing, and I competed for a couple years, and this year I actually took off. Yeah. My wife has made it to the CrossFit Games 3 times. And just the amount of training that it takes to get there, you're spending hours and hours and hours in the gym. And then it's like, by the end of the day, I have nothing left to give, So like I coach in the morning and I coach in the afternoon. So it's like I would train super early in the morning. Like we'd be up at 4 a.m. We'd be training at 5, and I'd train till about 8:30. And then I would coach the 9:30 class, come home, have lunch. Then I go back in the afternoon. And by that time, I'm literally fried. Yeah. I have like nothing left to give. I feel like my mood was worse, and I was just super exhausted. And I was like, man, we just need to take a year off. So I'm still doing CrossFit, but only like 2 to 3 times out of the week. And I'm really focusing on like my strength and hypertrophy.
Hey friends, if you're like me, always on the move, whether it's lifting, playing pickleball, hiking, snowboarding, or even just walking the dog, then hydration is key. But it's not just about drinking water, it's about balance. And that's where Element comes in. Element is an electrolyte drink mix that keeps me feeling my best no matter what I'm doing. With a science-backed ratio of sodium, potassium, and magnesium without any sugar or junk, I take it everywhere. On the court, on the trails, and especially in the car for long drives. And right now, Element is offering a free sample pack with your first purchase. Just go to drinkelement.com/themacrobarista. Stay fueled, stay hydrated, and I'll catch you on the next adventure. Before we go on, thank you for sharing. Like that's kind of long. It's a little different than I usually do on the show. Okay. But I kind of wanted to hear all of Nick's story, and so you guys got to hear his full story, and I think we're pretty much caught up almost to today. Yeah. One
thing I just didn't mention when I met my wife, but we can get to that.
Yeah, definitely. So it was interesting that you said when you were skating, you stopped drinking at 19, and then you felt like you were kind of went into your prime as a pro skater, but you were like sober during that time. And if you're unfamiliar with the skate culture, it's very fueled by drugs and alcohol. And that is what it is. That's just part of the culture. And so it's very interesting. I didn't know that. It's very interesting to hear that you were sober while you were in your prime, probably around all of your teammates and other people that were, heavily involved in drinking and drugs. And I was never any better, probably not even amateur level at skate. I skated since I was like 6 until I was like 18, and then I joined the military and stopped skating. But at that level, like when you're hanging at your local skate park every day, everybody's like smoking weed and like just downing beers from almost the second you wake up until, then the session really gets going when the sun goes down. And so it's cool to hear that you were sober. And you mentioned too that when you did start drinking again after 21, you started noticing you got more injuries and you weren't skating as well as you were those previous years. So do you think that it negatively impacted your abilities when you were skating? Like, because when I tried to smoke and drink while I was skating, I couldn't do it. I was just so off balance and just felt so out of my own head that I couldn't do anything. I'm just curious if like you felt a similar way, or like why that you think that had a difference on your ability?
Yeah. So I would say like when I was drinking during my skate career, it just made me feel shitty the next day and tired. I wasn't as sharp. It was dehydrating my body. And just even mentally, when you drink a lot, it can put you in a depressive like mind state. So even though I had shoes with my name on them, boards, that was everything I dreamed of, that's everything I wanted. But drinking so much like just made me stop caring. I stopped caring. And then even like with like traveling to go on trips, like I wasn't stoked. I wanted to stay home. And I was like, I don't want to go travel. I have to go on this trip. I have to go skate. And it was like, if I knew what I know now, I'd be like, bro, wake the hell up. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is everything you dreamed of. Yeah. And you're throwing it away because you want to go get drunk at night. It's like, you already decided this at the age of 19 that this isn't helping you, but then it's like everyone goes through phases when they're in their 20s. And so, yeah, I definitely learned a lot. And I feel like if I would have never started drinking again, things would have been different. But I feel everything happens for a reason. And I feel I reached my peak in skateboarding. And I did what I did at that era and that time frame. And you know, when I got back into, continuing skating after broken my neck, I was like, I can't top what I've already done. You know, what I've done, I did in my prime. And it's like, I'm on a different journey right now. Like I'm starting a new chapter.
Yeah.
So I was like, I did what I did. And I feel like, you know, everything does happen for a reason. And maybe that was my time to just be done there and just have that experience to share and maybe inspire other people to, if they feel like, oh, maybe I have drinking's being a problem, you know, maybe I get a little too crazy on the weekends, or maybe like I'm not more focused, or maybe I can be a little more sharp and then, you know, drink a little less, or, you know, maybe even quit drinking. You know, not everybody needs alcohol. Yeah. You know, some people love to socially drink, which is great. No problem at all. Yeah. Which, I mean, now I probably drink maybe once or twice a year. Yeah. It's just, I'm so well in tune with my body with training, and it's more important to feel great every day rather than taking a whole day of just feeling crappy and not being able to produce your potential, you know?
And I think that comes with drinking more than you probably should too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, alcohol can have a really negative perception. And even for myself, I went through a period in my 20s where I would drink all the time and feel the same way, just like depressed and not good. And nowadays, I don't know, I do it when I travel somewhere new and I try like a specialty drink. Like last night, I met with my uncle who lives in Orlando and I hadn't seen him for years. And I tried the bar had like a specialty martini that they make. And I had one drink, and it just was nice to enjoy that and converse with my uncle I hadn't seen for years. Or when my girlfriend and I travel out of country or wherever we travel, I think it's just cool to experience the local culture and something that they have to offer that's different from where, you know, going back home, you just go to the bar and they're serving like lemon drop shots and all this dumb shit. Yeah. And so it's cool. To me, I view drinking as a way to connect with other cultures and other people. And so I try to view it in a positive light as best I can, but there's definitely that dark side of it, which I've experienced alcoholism in my family and things like that. And so I've seen that stuff firsthand. But when I talk about alcohol to people, I try to frame it in a way that it can be viewed as a positive instead of that negative. Yeah. As you were telling your story, I'll definitely make sure that we have, you know, pictures and clips that pop up so people can understand the level that you were at with skateboarding. It's not just the person that's casually riding around, you know, it's putting your body through intense sessions to get to that upper echelon of, you know, like legendary type status. And so anyways, it's just a really cool to be here having this conversation with you. But I do want to talk about how you met your wife now, because like I mentioned earlier, they got married recently in Yosemite and it was so beautiful. And dude, how'd you meet your wife, and what are some kind of core values that you have in your relationship that keep you guys grounded and stable and working together as one?
So I met Laura in 2020. So it was like right after like COVID and all that. So there was like, I was on TikTok and I was just, you know, looking at videos, whatever. And this video pops up and it's her competing at Grid League. I'm not sure if you ever heard of Grid League. Yeah, Grid League. It's just like this crazy CrossFit style competition with its teams. And it's like 2 lanes and all the teams have to do the same exact movement. So like they're tagging people to run in, run out, kind of like specialty exercises, whatever, to get them done as quick as possible. And then the first team to make it to the end wins. Like, and I didn't even know what Grid League was. I just saw like this girl ran up, like did a snatch, ran up, did another snatch, and then ran to the end. And she was just high-fiving people at the end. And I was just like, whoa. I was like, who the hell is that? I was like, geez. Cause that was like right around when I was getting into CrossFit too. And I was just like so into CrossFit. Like it became, if you guys aren't aware yet, like anything I get into, I get like super obsessed with. Like it was skateboarding, fitness, CrossFit, like I just dive fully into, and I want to like master it the best I could possibly do. So like all this CrossFit stuff was popping up on my social media stuff, and I saw her and I was like, wow, she's freaking beautiful, and she's like fit and like competing and stuff. Cause like I was like, I want to compete, you know. And so I ended up finding out who she was. And then I followed her on Instagram, and I was just, you know, watching her stuff, like whenever she posts. And I was like, I want to send her a message. You know, I was like, I want to meet this girl. And so I sent her a message, and she never responded. And I was like, damn. So like then I'd always like see her stories and stuff, and I was like, man, I wonder if she's like will ever see my message. So she was always with her friend all the time, and I was like, should I just message her friend? I was like, maybe she can give the message to her. I was like, is that weird? I was like, honestly, I don't care. Like, I want to like meet her. She was like in my Pembroke Pines, which is like 3-ish hours from here. And it's like, screw it. I'm just going to message her friend. So I messaged her friend. I was just saying like, hey, hi, Lena. Hi, Lena. How are you? Like, nice to meet you. My name's Nick. You know, like, see you're good friends with Laura, and, you know, you own a CrossFit gym. It's like, you know, I just recently got into CrossFit. I love it, you know, and, you know, Laura seems like an amazing person and an incredible athlete. You know, I'd love to meet her one day. Like, if you could like forward her the message. Yeah. So she ended up like sending her the message, and Laura, like, she saw it and she's like, I don't want to talk to him. she's like, oh, he's like, you know, like, go check him out. Respond. She's like, no, like, I don't want to talk to him.
Yeah.
And so then like she ended up like responding to me, and she just said like, hi. And I was like, hey, how are you? And she's just like, good. Like, it was just like dead end. Like,
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like, so I was like trying to talk to her, and then she wasn't having it. And then like she'd tell her friend Lena, she's like, he's like trying to talk to me. And then she was like, so talk to him, you know? And so like she would just kind of give me like 1-word answers back, you know? But then I'd always like respond to her story, like, hey, have a good day, you know, like, or she'd be training and be like, oh, like, great job or something. And then I saw that she was going to be competing up in Clearwater. So that's like, you know, 45 minutes from me. And I had actually never been to a CrossFit competition before. So I was like, man, I want to go to a competition and see it. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to be at the competition. And she's like, oh, cool. You know, like, it was just so dead end. So then we go to the competition. I went with my buddy Alex, and she was competing, and she was like way down in like the warm up area. And I went up to like the fence about to where like she was going to compete over here. And I saw her friend Lena like right here. So I went up to her to say hi. And she was like super nice, very friendly, like big smile, like say, oh, hey, hi, like nice to meet you. And then she's like, oh, Lauda's coming up soon. I was like, oh, awesome, sweet. And so then like she's like coming out to the floor, and then Lena's like, Lauda, like, look who's here. And so Lauda's like getting ready to do like a 1-rep max snatch. Yeah. So like she's in like mental focus, like anxiety, you know, like walking up to that barbell, getting ready. And then she points at me like, oh, look who's here. And she's just like what the hell, funny, you know? And so like she did her snatch and all that. And, when she was done, she like went to the end, and then Lena went down there, and she's like, oh, Nick's here. He came here to see you. Like, go talk to him. She's like, I didn't ask for him to come here. She's like, go talk to him. She's like, no. She's like, you got to go talk to him. Go say hi at least. Yeah. And so then like she came up and like talked to me, and we sat there and said hi and talked for a little bit. And it's funny when she tells the story, because when we tell the story to people, she's like, I don't even remember what he said. Like, I just saw his mouth moving and this and that. And like, you know, I just honestly, truly wanted to meet her. It wasn't like I was trying to like pick her up, take her to go on a date. And like, you know, I was like, I just wanted to get to know her. Okay. So like said hi, and like, you know, really nice to meet you. And then she had to like go rest before the next event. And so me and my buddy Alex left to go get food, and then ended up coming back. And then she had told me like, you know, recent day of like, she was like asking for me for her friends, like, oh, do you think Nick's still here? So she was like curious about me, like asking if I was still around. Yeah. And then she competed. She did the last workout, and then we ended up taking a photo together. And then I said, bye, like, super nice to meet you. And it wasn't like, hey, let me get your number, or like, let me take you out. Yeah. It was just like, really nice to meet you, you know, like.
So you're just trying to form a friendship.
Exactly.
Really.
Yeah. Like, get to know her. And then I left, and then she was asking her friend for the photos. She's like, oh, can you send me those photos? And Lena's like, I'll send them to him. And she's like, oh, no, I want to send them. So she ended up taking the photos, and then she sent them to me. Mm-hmm. And then from there, like, it just struck up a conversation. We were talking like every single day, you know, getting to know each other. And it was like 3 weeks. And then ended up booking a trip to go down there. And then we went to dinner. Had a really nice dinner. We went on like a boat ride as well, and like had some like good sushi, and it was just really, really cool. It was really awesome to get to meet her. And then we just really kicked it off. And you know, we're just very driven, very motivated to like succeed, do the best we can possibly be with like competing. And we were just basically doing the same thing. So it was like really cool.
It sounds like she just needed to meet you in person, because I mean, that's totally justifiable, because I'm sure being a woman on the internet is probably not that fun with the amount of creepy messages you get from guys. And not that you're an attractive guy, so I'm sure that it didn't come off like super creepy, but I'm sure girls' inboxes are just flooded with messages from people trying to holler at them or whatever, just another guy trying to get my number or whatever it may be. And so probably because you were so persistent, and then, had the willingness to go and just strike up a conversation and meet her in person, showed her that, she could trust you, that you're like, okay, this guy's a genuine guy. And so, absolutely. I mean, an in-person, face-to-face conversation just trumps anything else. And that's part of why, I'm doing this whole thing, is because I've seen and quote unquote, like known or, followed these people like you on the internet for years. And I want to be able to just get to know them and get to know their story. And people only see really one side of you. They only see your one niche or this personal brand that you've built. And so it's cool to get to have these conversations and, have you share this other side of yourself that is maybe not so well known or so seen. That was 2020. And then we're in 2024 now, obviously. And you guys got married, 2 or 3 months ago?
Yeah, so we got married in 2023.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we went to the courthouse just to start it.
Yeah.
Like officially get married. Mm-hmm. But we were gonna do a wedding, but we wanted to get those documents started so that way we can actually travel. Because right now she has the asylum. She was not able to leave the country because she's from Venezuela. Okay. So I was like, why don't we because we got engaged January 1st of 2023. So we got engaged and then we got married officially like a month later. So I was like, because we were talking about, when we would do a wedding, this and that. And I was like, why don't we just go get married? Let's go get married. And because honestly, I felt like the engagement was the marriage for how nervous I was. And it was crazy. I was super, super nervous. So it was a surprise. We did it on, this rooftop bar, on New Year's Eve, and right when the ball was about to drop, she was there with the girls, and I had the girls grab her to do this, and then I was behind her, and I got down on one knee, and then right when it was 3, 2, 1, and then they turned her around, and it was just crazy. My heart was pumping through the roof, and I was super nervous. So getting married, I was like, that was easier than the engagement, because I was just so worked up, so nervous. But then when we got married in February, the next month, just to officially get it done. And then when the lady was repeat after me, and I was saying the words, I was like, oh, this is really happening. Cause you see movies, you watch people get married. And then when I was saying those words, I was like, dude, this is really happening. So it was really, really cool. So we got married, and then we were planning on doing a wedding, and she had to go back to Miami because she was training for the games. So her team was there. And so she's there, I'm here, and we're trying to find a wedding planner, trying to figure everything out. And it's just so difficult. We looked at a few different places, and then it's so expensive to do a wedding, especially for everybody we wanted to invite. And, if some people aren't invited, they get offended. And I was like, you know what? And then it depends, oh, we can't put this person at that table because this person, and it's just you know what? Let's elope. And so she did some research. She found these people called Adventure and Vow, and this is what they do for a living. And we had a meeting with them, spoke with them, talked about what we like, for them to get to know us. And we're like, dude, let's do it in Yosemite, because that's always been on the bucket list. We've always wanted to go there. And we're like, all right. So we planned the date, and then it was basically 9 months out where we planned it. And got an Airbnb. We flew out to Fresno and then drove up into Yosemite. And bro, that place is incredible. I highly recommend all of you guys to at least go there once. And it was more than what I imagined. I knew it was going to be sick, but it blew my mind.
Yeah. It's one of probably my top favorite national park in the States. There's just something everything is just so massive there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
huge.
and it's hard to put it. It's hard to just say it and understand it until you're standing at the bottom of this cliff. It's just a massive, massive, beautiful park.
Yeah. Yeah. So we went to Yosemite and Adventure and Wow, like, so it was basically just them. And then we went to different locations and shot a bunch of stuff. We went under this waterfall, like we were just soaking wet, and they got the most amazing photos, and we have like the best video that we will have forever.
Yeah.
You know, we're like, let's do something like this so that way we have it forever, rather than just paying, I don't know, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 to give people a party.
Right. When
we can go here, really share this moment, you and I, not stress about making sure everyone's okay. Like, it's just you and I. Like, it was just me and her, and we had such an amazing time. We said our vows, and it was truly incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the route that I would like to go for myself when that day comes.
Yeah.
Just because you said it's like, it can get so tricky on who you invite, where you place them, all that stuff. And that's something, a stressor that I don't really want to deal with. And I'm sure you totally get it. But what are some things that keep you guys, strong as a unit, you and Laura?
Yeah, it's funny. Like, we just did a podcast a few weeks ago talking about like how we made our long distance relationship work, because she would have to be in Miami. I would be here for like 6 months at a time, going back and forth. And honestly, I think it's like trust. Trust is very important. And the people you surround yourself with, if, she's out with friends, if she's like, oh, I'm going out with so-and-so, it's like, I know who that person is. Communication is very important too. And I think jealousy is almost like a waste of time. If you truly trust somebody and you truly love them, and you're getting jealous over something, like, I feel like it's a huge waste of energy, like to go down that of just being jealous about something that's not even anything, just assumptions. I feel it can really ruin things. So communication is very important. We talk all the time, with just how we're feeling. If we're thinking about something, bring it up, talk. That's my partner, that's my wife. Like, I said I do, so she's going to be my wife forever. I can trust her with anything I tell her without her judging me, anything like that. So, communication is key. If you feel like you need to say something, or if there's something bothering you, just speak your mind, and honestly, you two can work it out. And, it's much better to kind of clear the air than rather have a huge cloudy head and just be unsure of things. So communication is key.
Yeah. How do you guys approach like those tougher conversations? That's kind of, sometimes communication can be uncomfortable, right?
Absolutely.
Communication can be hard, whether it's a relationship or not, but how do you guys approach when it is uncomfortable?
I would have to say Laura's definitely better at that than I am. Okay. Like, she can just dive into it. For me, like if I'm, kind of thinking about something or it's on my mind, it might be like a few days before I even like be like, all right, well, I've been thinking about this, cause I really like to think about things, and, like we all do, but she can easily like just start it right away and like just go over something or dive into something. If anything at all, if it's a conflict, or if it's just literally anything, like she can easily speak, and she loves to speak. She always loves to speak right before I'm about to go to bed, and it's like,
that's it. That's
Dave, I love you, but like, when I get into bed, that's my time to wind down, shut off, because we have like a little routine, like we'll have dinner, and then I like to spend some time stretching and just relaxing, breathing, letting my body calm down and wind down. So that when I do lay down and go to bed, it's like, boom, I'm exhausted. Like, so like when I go into bed, it's like not to sit there on my phone or like really, I mean, some nights we do have conversations, we speak, but it's like when I get to bed, it's like, I want it to be fall asleep, relax, like wake up, start my day. Cause then like, I feel sometimes I get my second wind, we start having a conversation, and then I try to go to bed, and then all these thoughts are going through my mind, and I'm tired, but I'm wired, and I'm just like, damn. And then I can't fall asleep. Yeah. So I like to use our bed as like, when we're in bed, we go to sleep, or if we're going to bed for something else, then that's for that. But
yeah. I think I've seen like a couple of TikTok videos where it's like the couple's going to bed and then it's like the wife like gets the zoomies.
Yeah.
Then right before they're going to sleep and it's like, oh babe. Yeah, that's funny
Every
that you
night.
say that. That's funny that you say that. As we come to the end of the conversation here, again, just thank you for letting me come to your place and set up and bring my tailgate coffee table to your house and sharing a cup of coffee with me. There's something that I like to ask everybody that I have on the show, and it's a question that we get asked when we're younger as kids and in high school and even in college, but not so much as we're adults. And the question is, who do you want to be when you grow up? And I don't really feel like we ever stopped growing up. And so I think it's a cool question to ask, my guests on my show that are adults, is who you want. And you can interpret this however you want to answer it, but it's just, who do you want to be when you grow up?
So I want to be the best person that I could possibly be, be a good husband, be a good dog dad to Zoe, take my fitness to a level that I can truly be the best that I can. Like I went through skateboarding. I did everything I could to be the best I could. And I closed that chapter. Now I'm in the fitness space and I'm doing everything I can to be the fittest, whether I look fit or perform fit or, go to CrossFit competitions, win events. And I'm just continually trying to be the best I can with the fitness stuff and now like business as well. Like business is something I'm really diving into more with, social media stuff, with having a brand. My wife and I have a few companies together, which is gymnastic grips as well as booty bands. So we're really learning about that. It's all new to us. So we're trying to do the best we can with being a great business owner, get our products out there. Also be a great gym owner, be a great inspiration for all the members there. Be a really good coach to help everyone improve and be healthier and improve in their fitness as well. And just be a great overall well-rounded person.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think life's just about progressing forward into the best version of ourselves that we can create and surrounding ourselves with the best people that are going to help us get there too. Man, Nick, thank you again, dude. I really just urge you to go back and listen to his story because I think it's such a unique story that, you don't really, if you go to his social medias, you don't really see this story of who Nick is and, the things that he went through to get to where he's at today. And so, the first 15 minutes of the show where Nick was telling us his life story, I'd love if you just go back and listen to that. And I think there's some really great takeaways that you can, use to inspire yourself or just see where Nick is now and use that maybe as inspiration in your own life of what you can achieve. So I'll drop all of Nick's socials in the show notes. But Nick, again, thank you for coming to the Tailgate Coffee Table, and
Absolutely.
Maybe in the future we'll run it back.
Yeah, man. Sounds great. Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. Peace.